My name's Tim, and I got 4 kids, and one's called Yvonne, she's 15, and then I've got another 3 kids to my wife Jenny, Shan, Oisin and Aoife Mo. Shan and Oisin are twins, they're 10, and Aoife Mo is 6. Grew up on the city side in a place called Mobber Street. I was a grade A student. I ran competitively. I was involved in a lot of extracurricular activities. There was something inside of me that seemed to be missing, and it was a craving for attention and a craving to be accepted. When you grow up and you want to be accepted by people, sometimes make the mistake of doing things that you don't really want to do. I was looking at what everybody else around me was doing, and they all seemed to have girlfriends, and I seemed to be the only person in amongst my age group and my peer group who didn't have a girlfriend. And so every Friday night, all the guys, they would get ready to go to the local disco, and before they would go to the local disco, they would normally go and stand outside the off license and try to get somebody older and get them some alcohol. And so I decided that that's what I was going to do, because I wanted to fit in and I wanted to be like everybody else. And I went and I got the drink and I got drunk and I went to the disco, and for the first time in my life I felt part of something. And so the next week I did the same thing again, and this became a bit of a cycle for me, where every Friday night I would do the same thing. And what started to happen was I wasn't going training on Saturday mornings anymore. So my normal life, my fun life, as I used to call it and think of it, was now starting to affect my life. The grade A student dropped out of school. The international athlete gave up on athletics. I gave up on life, really. So I got mixed up with some guys who were involved in selling drugs. Until one day, you wake up and you think, how did I end up here? How did my life end up in such a mess? Because my parents had had enough of me. My parents had had enough of the stealing, of the lying, of the cheating, and they got fed up with the police knocking at the front door looking for me all the time. I had exhausted them emotionally, physically, financially and spiritually. I found a house in the city that was derelict, and I squatted in that house for a number of months. I was very, very, very secretive, because I was afraid that if people really saw who I was, if people really saw what I was all about, well, they would run a mile. And at my lowest point, I was spending approximately £400 a day on cocaine. There was a threat put on my life, and I was told that if I didn't get out of Derry within 24 hours, I was in serious danger. And my dad put me in his car, and he drove me out of the city, and he took me to a residential rehabilitation centre and dropped me off, and I did a detox. I met a girl in Dublin city centre, and this girl was a drug dealer, and I bought drugs from her. We entered a whirlwind romance, and within 3 months she was pregnant. We decided that our relationship was going nowhere, and we ended up going our own separate ways. We split up. After a period of time, Jenny returned to Derry, and she got hooked up with a church in the city called Cornerstone. Something started to happen to her that was very, very, very attractive. I didn't understand what was happening to her, but what I did know was she was changing, and she was changing for the better. And one day she invited me to come along to the church, because she said she was going to be telling her story. And for the first time in my life, I think I caught a glimpse of what God looked like. She used words like forgiveness and love and grace and mercy. I don't really understand those words, but looking at her, I thought, I want what she has. On that day, I decided that I was going to give God a chance. I said, God, I can't do this anymore. I need you to do it for me. I need your help. And in that moment, in that instant, something happened in me that to this day I can't explain. I was no longer a drug addict. I was no longer a liar. was no longer a thief. I was no longer a cheat. But I was a child of God. And that I had a God who loved me and who wanted nothing but the best for me, and who died on the cross for me, who said, Tim, your sins are forgiven. Your past has gone. Let's step into a new future. When I look at my family, when I look at my children, when I look at my wife, I see God. I see Him everywhere. I see Him all around me. I just see life. I don't see my addiction. I don't see my past. I don't see my brokenness. I just see my hope and my future in Jesus.